Today is the day we put my marketing degree to use. Hi everyone, it's Sarah. Welcome to or back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing these propaganda ads, mostly by the fossil fuel industry, and dissecting them a bit, giving you my honest reaction because I haven't seen any of these, and I can give you a little bit of insight, I guess, into why these are effective or maybe not. We'll see. Without further ado, let's get into watching, hopefully, some cringe material. Our first ad is from Go Natural Gas, who only has 62 subscribers right now, but this video has about 1,600 views at the moment.
Natural gas makes the fire that does more than instantly warm your home. The ambience of a blazing natural gas fire is sublimely and deeply relaxing. Natural gas. Once you've got it, you'll get it.
The point of an ad like this is to create that "what the heck did I just watch" reaction, because that's something that will go viral. The point that they're trying to make here is that it's a luxury that we shouldn't have to let go of, and even though it may be they're putting this in almost like a sinful kind of light, it's something that if you want this, you should be able to have it. So this organization, Go Natural Gas, if we look them up and we find their parent company, this ad was made by a conglomerate of Gemina, which is a energy company in Australia. I don't know much about them, but it's not just some group of people who are saying, oh wow, I just love natural gas, I want to save it. No, it's made by an energy provider who's trying to get you to think that natural gas is a better solution, maybe to oil. This is a little more sleuthing. So it's 60% owned by State Grid Corporation of China and 40% by Singapore Power. When we're thinking about these ads and just being more critical of the media that we consume, just following the path to see who actually owns this stuff is the easiest part to see whose biases are at play. All right, let's go to the second video. And this video is by Energy Citizens, and it has about 250,000 views. So this one is a bit higher stakes because it looks like a lot of people have already watched it. So let's see.
So you're saying this is the only way to combat climate change?
I mean, we have to do something.
But at what cost? Hundreds of thousands of jobs could be lost.
It says here to keep it in the ground.
Why should we choose between cleaner air and jobs when we can have both? I mean, emissions are at an all-time low thanks to natural gas. Plus, natural gas jobs pay twice as much as other jobs in manufacturing.
Cleaner air, more jobs? I mean, that sounds good to me.
Me too. All right, I'll see you later, babe.
See ya.
All right. So there's a lot of problems with this one. First off, who talks to their family like that in the morning? Not really realistic. Let's go through this piece by piece and then we'll dig into a little bit more of who made this ad.
You're saying this is the only way to combat climate change?
So they're insinuating here that he said something. We don't know what, but let's see, the mystery piqued our attention.
I mean, we have to do something.
But at what cost?
The cost of inaction is more than the cost of action, so...
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah, that makes sense. This isn't an if-then jobs will be lost. Jobs are already being lost because we are on our way to transition, and these companies are like trying to convince people that jobs aren't already being lost and they're not already laying off people, and they already treat their workers like poo-poo. So, all right, let's look into this article. It says NPR, keep it in the ground. So I have it pulled up here. It is a real article that NPR wrote. Keep it in the ground, activists optimistic despite oil boom. So let's read it for a second. So this article is basically talking about how activists are saying that fossil fuel companies need to keep stuff in the ground, and the fossil fuel companies are just burning stuff anyway. So it makes sense as a headline in this video to address, but it's pretty misleading. It even talks about how still the industry has responded to the movement with public relations campaign. Like, why would you use this article in your public relations campaign? Do you think that people have like one brain cell like you?
Why should we choose between cleaner air and jobs when we can have both?
That is true. Called the Green New Deal.
I mean, emissions are at an all-time low thanks to natural gas.
Emissions are at an all-time low thanks to natural gas. Let's do some little sleuthing. Okay. This article from Inside Climate News says, as coal power generation has been replaced by gas, which produces about half the carbon dioxide when burned, and by renewable energy sources like wind and solar. But experts agree that those official figures understate emissions of methane, the primary component of natural gas, and a potent greenhouse gas released in leaks throughout the oil and gas development supply chain. So, boom, misrepresenting statistics. Yeah, that's really embarrassing for them. Let's go in to see who this group, Energy Citizens, are. From all 50 states, we come together to make our voices heard. American natural gas and oil are solving big challenges and bringing us a better tomorrow. See and hear the stories of Energy Citizens just like you with this lovely stock photo. Cool. Who is this funded by? No other than the American Petroleum Institute. It's not like they have any stock in whether we phase off fossil fuels or not. Let's go over to the next video. This one has a lot of views.
Right now, safely accessing energy on federal lands adds millions to state budgets across the country. Money earmarked as a vital source for funding for schools. But banning new federal leasing would limit that much-needed funding going to the states. Funding that communities and our families count on. There's too much at stake. Energy that funds the public good is worth fighting for. Become an Energy Citizen.
So I'm guessing this video is really recent, October 2nd, 2020. So there's been a big debate in the US about the viability of fracking. Should we ban fracking? And that's a big contentious issue for some reason. What this ad is trying to do is talk about the debate that's happening right now about fracking and oil production on federal lands, right? So they're trying to tell you that it's a trade-off. You either get a school bus for your kids, which is a form of group transportation, so I don't know why you wouldn't just drive your kid in your oil-powered car. They're trying to say that there's a trade-off, right, between public education and energy on federal lands. I don't really understand. It's really just to stoke fear. We have our basic
Accessing energy.
Basic white family. This issue shouldn't be an issue in the first place, but this video is really a response to that debate. Okay, I think we're done with Energy Citizens, and I'm done with these fools who are just misleading people. So we're gonna close it on a good ad, one that I watched the other day by the Sunrise Movement. Again, any ad that you see is, if you want to call it propaganda, marketing, advertising, whatever, same diff, it's to get you to think a certain way. So I'm not saying that they're not trying to convince you of something, because obviously this video is to try to convince. It's a political ad, it's about the Green New Deal, but it's also accurate and true and what we need to go to. So let's finish it off with a good old Mike Siegel union video.
We are not famous, but we've worked hard to build their shining city, to build incredible infrastructure to power this country. We've carried the American dream of billionaires on our backs. We've built their America. But I've talked to my coworkers. We can see what's coming. Floods and wildfires getting worse, plants closing.
Will lose their jobs.
I look around at my union brothers and sisters, and every day I see jobs being obliterated with no backup plan for us to transition to something better. But I'm not gonna let their America leave us behind. So I started organizing for a Green New Deal with my union. Conversations weren't easy, but my fellow workers understood. What use is a good job if you don't have a home to come home to? What use is a country if you can't work to better the lives of yourself and your neighbors?
The
Democratic congressional candidate Mike Siegel.
Welcome Mike Siegel.
Mike Siegel.
I'm a former public school teacher, a union organizer, a civil rights lawyer.
Unions have a saying, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu.
All right, we'll stop it there at 1 minute. This ad's so cool because it upends the stereotypes that you have about who supports a Green New Deal. So by having this union leader, a guy who is the stereotype, I would say, of a Texas conservative, having him as the voice to talk about this it's really a great. I love the part where they said, we built their America and they've left us behind, because it's true. Here's to him, hoping he'll win. If you haven't gone out and if you're in the US and you can vote, make sure to do that. Vote for Green New Deal champions, not even just at the president level, but really those down ballot candidates, those people who will fight for us in Congress, in your local communities. Thank you for entertaining me in reacting to these videos. If you have any other fun ones that you want me to kind of analyze and talk about, go ahead and send them to me. And, probably won't make anything again until after the election, so stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you in the next one, friends.